I say, God, here I am. Here I am. Once again. Because the desire of my heart is to live for you. The desire of my heart is to walk with you. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are not new, welcome back. So this is actually a continuation of the videos that I've been doing on my channel, telling you a little bit about my life, some of the things that I've been through, right? So if you guys have not watched the last video, you can go ahead and watch it just to catch up on, you know, what I'm going to be saying, because there's something that I left out that was really important that I wanted to say from the previous video that I'm going to stay here. And then I'm going to tell you about when I gave my life to the Lord at the age of 13 years old. That was a very long time. But so let's get right into it. I wanted to say in my last video what had happened when our house got burnt down and we're homeless. Me, my mother, my father, and my 3 brothers at the time. Yes, right? You know, after that incident happened, you know, we weren't able to go to school for a year and a half because what? Our birth certificate burned up, everything that we lost, everything. Our birth certificates, every document that we had was gone. And you know, it was just such a painful time in our lives. But as I said, we're going through so much that these things, we were so numb to it. I was young, but I understand everything that was going on. But my mother, she had to become numb to everything because she knew that she just had to fight and that she had no other choice, you know. And we didn't go to school, you know, we didn't, because we didn't have any documents. We would have to find another school to go to, obviously, because we would not be living in the community where we used to live, because we didn't have a home there, you know. And my father, even though he was going through whatever he was going through at the time, he went, and it took us a very long time to get the documents, our birth certificate, to go back to school. And then we started school again. At that time I started school in 4th grade at the time. And you know, yeah, so I just wanted to add that. But at the age of 13 years old, I decided, as I said, that was a long time ago. Let me tell you, back then, we didn't have internet. Let me tell you, we didn't have internet. Well, if it was around, we didn't have it. We didn't have internet. We didn't have these phones, and we didn't have these things. We used to have to go to phone booths to make phone calls. We didn't have these things. I wasn't exposed to things on the internet or anything. We just didn't have it. It wasn't available until years, because that was a long time ago. You know, and I remember I grew to church a lot. I used to sing on the church choir, and despite what we're going through, we felt like we had no other choice than to just stick with God, because there was no other choice, right? I used to go to church a lot. And you know, I remember in 1990, December 31st, 1999, right? December 31st, 1999, right? That was the end of December, the last day of December 1999, when I made a decision at the age of 13 years old, without my father, my mother consent, that I was going to give my life to the Lord. I felt like there was no other way out. I felt like at that time, I had to make the choice. You know, I remember I was at church that night and they called the altar call, you know. As I said, I've been going to church for a long time, so all of those things was in me. It was just natural, you know. And I went to the altar call that night. I remember when my pastor, he passes away too, you know. He has taught me so much, you know. He has helped me to become the person I am, you know, with my walk with the Lord, you know. But he passes away, I think it's about 2 years and or about a year ago, or a little over a year or so. I remember he called the altar call, and I went up there, and he was like, you know, we're gonna get whoever's not going to be baptized, we're going to have a baptism the next day, who wants to be baptized and whatever. And the power of God was over me so much. I didn't understand anything. Let me tell you, as I said, I was young, but I was there. I remember I was crying at the age of 13. Remember, when I made that decision, I remember we were still going through homelessness. We didn't have anywhere to live. We were living with family members, but it's crazy. But we're living with family members, and I've just lost our baby brother. My father is battling other things. My mother is struggling to take care of us. And it's just so crazy. I remember that night I made up my mind. That night I made up my mind to give my life to the Lord. And let me tell you, I'm glad I made that decision at that time. I'm so happy that I did. I didn't know. Maybe it was just a spirit in me telling me that you have to do it, because I didn't get any permission. I just knew that I'm going to do it. I'm going to give my life to the Lord. My parents wasn't at church that night, but I knew that's a decision that I had to make. I remember they take us to I remember things so very, very well. Especially things like these. I remember we went to the river on the next day, which was the first day of January 2000. I went to the river, and I can't remember what I said before I got baptized. I really can't remember that. But I remember I said something like a testimony or something. I can't remember. But let me tell you, I remember when the pastor put me under the water and I came up back, I was crying. I didn't understand why I was crying. I didn't know. But the Holy Spirit was all over me. The power of God was all over me. And I was crying. And let me tell you, when I came up from under the water, I felt so brand new. Something that you have to experience. It cannot be explained. I felt so brand new. I felt like I'm going to start a new journey. Everything felt so complete. And I got baptized. I gave my life to the Lord at the age of 13. And God knew that I was going to go through a lot of things. I was going to battle a lot of things. And God protected me. He built a shield around me to help me to go through everything that I go through after that point in my life. I was baptized. My parents didn't even, I just let them know that I got baptized, there was no explanation to it. There was nothing. I just got baptized. I gave my life to the Lord, and so many things happened to me after that. And, so many things happened to us, but I think that God saved me in a special way, that, His grace and His mercy. And so many things happened to me after as I grow and I get older. We struggle a lot. My family, my mother struggled to take care of us because my father wasn't around, not because he didn't choose to, but because of what he was going through. He was in the hands of the state, and he was just not around, and my mother had to do what she had to do to take care of us. And I remember my mother struggled so much. My mother struggled to take care of us because she had to work for people. She had to do domestic work. She had to do construction work. She had to do anything that was available to do just for us to eat and go to school. I remember there were days when I go to school with nothing at all, because I'd loved school from ever since growing up. School was always something that I loved. I never wanted to miss school. And a lot of times she would say, I don't have any money to send you to school. And I said, I'm still going to go. I still want to go to school. And she would give me, at the time, $20, which in Jamaican dollars is nothing. Nothing at all. When I say nothing, it's nothing. And I would used to fruit froze drink, like syrup, and I used to carry in a bottle, and I would used to buy Jamaicans know what I'm saying, because the Nutribun, I used to buy Nutribuns, and I used to eat. And I used to feel satisfied because that's what we have. We didn't have anything else. We didn't have nothing. And my mother struggled so much to take care of us, and we got through so much things. And as I grew and I get older, I struggled as a child growing up. I was in need of so many simple things, but we learned to satisfy, and I went through so much ever since that day onwards, you know. And I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit to 2009, right when I was 2009, which is not so long ago but long ago. And I was struggling so much. I was on my own. I was living on my own at a very young age, and I was struggling. And one of my uncle, he passes away, because I've lost so many dear people to my heart, man. Let me tell you, I've been there, you know. And I lost my uncle. I remember he had a church, and I was going to the church, but I was struggling so much at that time. But I'm gonna get into those stories. But I just want to fast forward to one day when I went to the church, and he knew I was struggling because I told him I was struggling, you know. And I remember he said, I'm gonna have a baptism, right? And he said, I want you to come and I want you to get baptized. But I said to him that I've been baptized a long time ago. And he said, but I'm still going to baptize you. I'm gonna recommit you. You know, I remember he said I didn't want to because I was in the world, you know. Because remember, I got baptized when I was 13. I was very young. And then I didn't know anything. I haven't experienced anything. So as I grew older, I dive into a lot of things. I do a lot of things. And I was out there in the world, you know. And at that time, I was out there in the world. So I didn't want to make a fool of myself or make a fool of God. I was ready to really commit. And he said, I'm going to go to the beach, and I want you to come. And and he asked me, what's holding you back? And he asked me at the time, is it that you have a relationship? Are you scared? What is holding you back? And I said, nothing. And I didn't want to get into it at the time with him because, you know, I wasn't that expressive. As I grew older after that, I get more expressive because I was very timid and shy growing up. And I remember I went with him. I was obedient. And I went with him, and then he baptized some other persons, and then he called me, because remember he told me that when I called you, I want you to come. I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to come. And he called me, and I went, and I got baptized again. I recommitted in 2009. I gave my life to the Lord again. I said, God, here I am. Here I am. Once again. Because the desire of my heart is to live for you. The desire of my heart is to walk with you. The desire of my heart is to always have you a part of my life. And I recommitted, you know. And then so many things happened after that again, you know, so many things. But I'm gonna cut this video and I'm gonna dive into the other part of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you guys have not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment, interact, share your story about your walk with the Lord, all the things that you've been through, and turn on your post notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a video. So thank you guys again so much, and just stick around for the next video, okay?